Hello, Mr. Jaber. Christian Bond here, doing my final presentation for the online oral communications class. I'm going to be doing my presentation on the criminal justice system and why I think the correctional institutions need a large overhaul before something drastically goes wrong. There's a heavy reliance on private institutions at the moment, in my opinion. I internship at a private institution called Renewal Inc., which is right next to the county jail, and we have county, state, and federal inmates that go there. Now, the thing is that we get transfers from county, state, and federal, and those prisons are getting extremely overcrowded, and they send us. Now, they are somewhat dependent on private institutions because of the overcrowding, because penitentiaries and things along those lines are trying to push people out, in my opinion, to save some sort of money, because the United States has become very punitive on making people pay for their crimes, which there's nothing wrong with that if we had a proper way to handle things. Punishing people by sending them to prison with correctional officers that have no really training in the teaching aspect and don't really care to help individuals, when in the other end is private institutions, which are smaller and more hands-on. They try to help people succeed through work release programs and things along those lines. Now, I completely understand that you have to have a lot of money to run these types of programs. The reason I find that the private institutional programs are more successful is for the simple fact that you have obviously less inmates, more staff. That leads you to have more one-on-one cooperation with inmate-staff relationships. You actually get to build trust and relationships between them. In a facility that has maybe only 600 people versus thousands of inmates, it's a big difference. And I don't know if you've ever talked to a correctional officer or been in any sort of institution or visited anything like that. Correctional officers, there's two types. There's caring and there's punitive. The one is power hungry and has no concern for inmate safety. The other one is caring. They want them to succeed. I believe that this is one of the primary causes of recidivism, because inmates aren't receiving the proper care that they need in the correctional system. Correctional officers aren't doing their jobs. Well, they're doing their jobs to the extent that they're keeping the inmates in line, and that's about it. They aren't helping them succeed. A long time ago, it used to be heavily education-based, heavily rehab-based, and things along those lines. Now, it's just focused on punishing people. They get an hour of rec outside. There's no groups or anything like that. And it's very unorthodox. It's like a caged animal that you want trained to do something, but you let it outside an hour a day and expect it to relearn how to live its life on its own. Which goes to my next example. A lot of people commit crimes again because they grow up with a group of friends. Now, whether those group of friends are bad or good has a big influence on you. Most people that grow up with a good, hard-working group of friends that go try hard in school and don't do drugs and things along those lines won't commit crimes. And if they do, they'll come out and they will be less likely to recommit. On the other hand, you have people that have problems and friends and things along those lines. Now, those people come out, who do they go back to? Their friends. Now, the issue is here, that people don't understand is, can you really expect an individual to remake friends? What I mean by remake friends is completely wipe out everyone that you had accompanied with that was bad, that got you into these situations in the first place. That's extremely hard. Some individuals can do it, but I know I couldn't. That if I had problems and things like that, that I would not be able to make new friendships and do things like that. That would be almost impossible in my opinion. I believe that private institutions are a band-aid for bigger institutions. They are trying to fix what the bigger institutions could not. I think that a fix, in my opinion, would be more correctional officers. but not more punitive correctional officers. They need to have more TLC training, for lack of a better word. They need to be able to react in a less aggressive manner towards inmates, because some inmates react much better to a helping hand than being abused along those lines and trying to get them to help. There's many things that you could change, but I think that's one of the big issues. Obviously, that's going to cost money, but I think I read that most state penitentiaries and things along those lines, or even county jails, it's upwards of $100+ a day just for per inmate. Now, private institutions are lower than that. They're more in the $80, $70 range, which is still a lot. And obviously, paying a correctional officer a day is going to have larger consequences too, because it's obviously more money. But in the end, more correctional officers, in my opinion, less recidivism rate in inmates. Now, is that correct? In my opinion, I think it would work very well. More people working hand in hand with inmates, helping them through their problems and things like that. But that's my opinion, and that's my final presentation. I'd actually like to hear your opinion on correctional institutions, what you think they do right, what they do wrong. I like talking to people about it. So when you email me back critiquing this, I would appreciate if you gave me your opinion. And I am actually going to be turning in a couple assignments with this video when I'm going to email you them, and I will have the rest of the assignments for you next week. I've actually been swamped with my internship and trying to finish it this week and all my other classes, so I fell behind on a few, but I will have everything in by the 14th, and I will turn in a few assignments today with this, and I thought your class was very helpful. I liked your critiques and your pointers and things along those lines, and that's about all I got. I thank you, and have a wonderful holiday.